rAVe Radio. With rants and raves, you'll be okay. And today is your lucky day. It is rants and raves with Gary.
Hey everyone, Steph Beckett here for another episode of Rants and Raves, and joining me this time is Costa Nichols from the Telos Alliance. First of all, Costa, tell everyone a little bit about who you are and what you do.
So I'm Costa Nichols. I work for the television side of Telos Alliance, and basically what I do is make sure that from a strategic perspective, our products align with the market needs that we're working on. So today that is it's primarily the broadcast and streaming markets for television and radio, but obviously as we go more and more into live events and to the higher end ProAV space, that's also something that I will be looking at to expand our product line into. So at the end of the day, what I do is business development. It's a bit of product management. It's a lot of sales, and here we are.
A little bit of everything.
Right.
So we're coming out of NAB show 2026. That is now behind us. But kind of looking back at that show, what shifts in kind of like audio workflows stood out to you, especially ones that kind of go beyond broadcast and start to impact a lot of those ProAV environments? Because I feel like I saw a lot of that on the show floor.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, the three biggest kind of workflow expectations that we're seeing are around AI, cloud, and immersive formats. So on the kind of AI side of things, you've got AI-driven workflows. So the most significant signal from the show that I kind of got was the demand for AI-driven workflows, which are generally being explored to reduce manual effort and accelerate turnaround, are kind of the biggest interest, right? And some of the key features from an AI workflow expectation that people would want to implement would be things like source separation, music replacement, actually even to a certain and that's for kind of file-based or production workflows, but even in like live kind of production, using AI tools to do auto mixing and auto leveling, which would effectively allow your audio engineer to focus on really kind of the creative aspects of delivering sound for a live event, not worrying about is this level or that level right in my mix.
Absolutely. And when it comes to some of those AI-driven tools that you mentioned, which ones, in your opinion, are most helpful for those ProAV teams that don't have those dedicated audio engineers, and how does it make their lives a little bit easier?
Yeah, definitely the audio mixing and audio leveling capabilities. Those are the ones that for ProAV make life a hell of a lot more manageable in a complex audio environment. Now, we're also kind of looking at what are some of the other migrations that are happening in the industry. So above and beyond just ProAV, you've got the transition to cloud and IP, right? And as you probably know, that's been going on for the last decade or so. But IP, especially formats like ST2110 and IPMX, they're not simple, to kind of implement. You do need to have quite a lot of knowledge on how to orchestrate your flows, how to troubleshoot, how to do basic IP joins and disconnects and troubleshooting when things go wrong. So there's a lot of complexity that traditionally people in the ProAV or the broadcast space knew very little about, especially how the IP side of that would work. So as you have larger and larger networks and larger events where there could be potentially hundreds, if not thousands, of IP flows, and those could be, like I said, IPMX, 2110, Livewire Plus, or they could be Dante or NDI. You have to have tools in place that will allow you to figure out, A, what's there, is it active? what are the levels those flows should be at to mix with the rest of my production. So that's where AI can help too, is that orchestration, that monitoring and troubleshooting, and some of the tools that we've developed or are in the process of developing too, can help a lot with that auto leveling, auto discovery, auto mixing side of things. And then, if we move even outside of cloud and IP, the other trend was around immersive audio. So having more audio tracks, more languages, the ability to customize an experience of audio depending on the end user's rendering device, whether that's like a TV set or AirPods from their phone, or a full-blown home entertainment system, right, with 5.1 or 5.14 surround. So a lot of this stuff has complexity in the production side of it, and we see that the tools with AI are getting better and better to allow one person with relatively good IT high-end skills to manage a production versus having lots of engineers that are kind of trying to get things done and using old school IPNG joins, So it really has moved on quite a bit, especially in the last 5 or 6 years, as far as having simpler interfaces like NDI and integration of control systems that do auto discovery, like NMOS on different flows that will allow engineers to work more effectively.
So looking ahead, you mentioned a few different trends, right? So of AI, of cloud workflows, of software-defined audio, all of what you mentioned. What do you think is going to actually start affecting mainstream AV deployments in the next few months to even, a year from now? And what is still kind of on the earlier side that hasn't quite shifted over to that ProAV space yet?
Right. Well, the first thing, there still is that migration fully to IP infrastructures. So even simply for ProAV, using Dante Connect or NDI as your sources instead of connecting XLRs to a patch bay to an analog router, right? Most of the mid-range or even higher end ProAV equipment support Dante today. So that's going to be a continuation that it's not going away. If anything, we're going to see more and more newer installs just become more IP. As far as private and public cloud, a lot of people have been talking about migrating their infrastructure, their equipment rooms to a kind of cloud environment. Public cloud, so Amazon or Google or Azure from Microsoft. These are great. They're always up, high availability, global, kind of distribution, but they're expensive. So, where we saw quite a few customers struggle is initially when they were launching their services on public clouds. They got sticker shock when they looked at the first bill, because there were a lot more egress costs and a lot more kind of over-the-head costs that they'd never calculated into their overall budget. So the kind of migration now has been a hybrid approach where these infrastructures are set up virtually in your own private cloud, and a private cloud could be 3 servers in your basement or an equipment rack, right? It doesn't need to be this massive data center. So movement to a kind of private cloud approach, and then when you need to for peak utilization times or event times, you could also have a hybrid approach where you configure whatever you need on a public cloud and then shut it down right after the event just to minimize costs, right? So definitely, as we saw, as we talk about AI and that's a trend, so is the kind of deployment infrastructure, whether it's going to be cloud or on-prem or even appliances on-prem or in a truck. That's all migrating to be more virtualized. And then, of course, I've come back to it a couple of times with immersive audio. you have even smaller broadcasters today, or smaller events, or even corporate events that want to take advantage of multilingual content, that want to take advantage of things like better dialogue intelligibility. Even from an accessibility perspective for the hearing impaired, to have cleaner audio that's removing any background noise, and is separated from sound effects or music that might be in a specific production. So we see a lot of these kind of trends coming together now. So if you are a integrator and you're trying to figure out, where am I going to invest my time and energy, it's really, well, first things first. For things like infrastructure, public cloud, private cloud, you really need to kind of figure out from a financial perspective what makes the most sense, right? If it's a production that is going to run for months and weeks on end, having perpetual licenses might be more interesting. If it's for weekly events that happen for 3 or 4 months out of the year, subscription models are fantastic. So figuring out what the best cloud environment to accommodate your budgets is really important. And then the same thing goes for your vendor solutions. So we do obviously the auto mixing, the audio processing solutions. We also do audio mixers, we do intercom systems, and all of these you have an option of buying outright permanent licenses. Some of them you can work with software as a service type modeling, so subscription type pricing. So whatever really kind of accommodates your production in the best way. Those are the kinds of solutions that you need to be looking at. And then as far as kind of future proofing and figuring out what technologies you need to be working with, the IP transition is not going away. If anything, it's going to get better, and with AI tools will also become easier to manage and orchestrate in a very big way. And you've just really got to look at what technologies you're going to be working with, and taking advantage of some of the benefits they bring to you, especially in the areas of scaling very quickly, the most efficient way of commercializing your need, whether it's a daily subscription, weekly subscription, monthly subscription, and better tools for that kind of orchestration, AI setup, and AI production that will, assist your operators to give them more time to be creative and not have to worry about, resource constraints. So that's kind of the trends and kind of direction that I see things moving, whether you're an integrator or a customer right now looking at this space.
I think that's great insight. Last question I have for you, Costa, is where can people find more information about any of the technologies that you mentioned, and generally about the Telos Alliance?
Right. Well, those are two different ways to look at it. For anything for the Telos Alliance, www.telosalliance.com is probably the best place to find out information on the solutions that we do. And again, those are really kind of focused on audio production, audio tools, and interconnectivity and bridge of audio, whether it's ground to ground, cloud to ground, or ground to cloud again, right? So www.telosalliance.com for our stuff. And then as far as cloud technologies, understanding what's going on over there, the transition to digital and digital formats. I mean, honestly, there are thousands of resources online that you can go to and find out more about these technologies. The EBU are a great resource, as is SVG and a lot of the broadcast or ProAV magazines. But honestly, I would just start off with a generated AI prompt from Google and type in, how do I find out more about cloud and IP production? And, it'll give you some really great resources to work with.
Perfect. Well, Costa, thank you so much for your time. I appreciate you being on this most recent episode of Rants and Raves.
Oh, my pleasure. And, great to be here. Thank you.
Of course. And for all of you watching and listening, don't forget to go to ravepubs.com for the rest of our NAB Show 2026 coverage. Again, I'm Steph Beckett, and we will see you next time. Bye.
Rave Radio. With rants and raves, you'll be okay. And today is your lucky day. It is rant